But one more hormone I want to talk about. We've talked about estrogen. We've talked about a little bit about testosterone and thyroid hormone, and insulin is kind of the granddaddy troublesome hormone of all. Because when insulin is not working, you have diabetes. Exactly. In 2003, the US government, the NIH, funded our research team to try to find a better diabetes diet. And we used a conventional diet, which was limiting calories and limiting carbohydrates, or an experimental diet, which was completely plant-based, vegan, low in oil. And to cut to the chase, the blood test that we use is called hemoglobin A1C, and it's a measure of your blood sugar control. And if a person has diabetes, it ought to be below 7. Our participants started out at around 8, which is not good control. The red line shows the conventional diet, and as you can see, they did well. They dropped by about 0.4 absolute percentage points, which is good, which is quite good. But the plant-based group, the vegan group, dropped by 1.2 absolute percentage points just on average, which is huge. If you have a medication that does that, that is a fabulous medication, and it was beans, asparagus, cheap foods. This is Vance. Vance was a policeman in Washington, D.C. And then he worked in a bank, and he had diabetes. And he came in and he said, diabetes to me, it's all up and down my family tree. I know exactly what it means. It means you're gonna probably go blind, lose a leg. This is not a good thing. So he wanted to join our research study. And he started the vegan diet, and after about 2 weeks on the diet, he said, you know, this is something. This is the easiest diet I ever did. I said, really? Most people would think a vegan diet means you gotta have a taste for folk music, tie-dye clothes, tell people you're like a philosopher, stuff like work in a library. And it's like, no. This is, look, vegan diet. You don't know. Diets that I have done in the past, they make me count my carb grams. So I gotta keep lists of my carb grams. And then they make me cut calories, and that's the worst. So I'm a big guy. I would normally eat, 2,000 calories a day according to my dietitian, and my menu adds up to 1,500. That means every day you go to bed hungry. How are you supposed, by Wednesday you want to eat the sofa. With us, we just said, don't eat meat chili, eat bean chili. Instead of Alfredo sauce on your pasta, put tomato sauce on your, real simple. So that's what he did. And over about a year, he lost 60 pounds. His doctor stopped his medication, his private doctor stopped his medications because his blood sugars were in good range. And his A1C fell from 9.5, which is bad, poor control, to 5.3. And for any physicians in the house, 5.3 as A1C is, that's normal. And I want to tell you something, I had his lab slip in my hand for about 15 minutes pacing around in my office. I was trying to, this is bad, I know it sounds stupid. This was 16, 17 years ago. I was pacing around because I wanted to know, could I tell him he doesn't have diabetes? At that time, people said, once you have diabetes, you will always have diabetes. And it had almost this punitive air, but it was said for good reason. The idea was, take it seriously. You will never be free of this disease. You must do your finger sticks. You must take your medications. You must go to the clinic. Here was a guy who didn't have diabetes, according to his blood tests. Do I tell him? And now we can laugh about it because frankly we see it all the time. We have many, many people who come to us where their A1Cs get in the normal range and they get off their medication. Now, not everybody. If you've had diabetes for 30 years and you change your diet, it's very unlikely to completely go away, although it will get better in most cases. And in some cases, like some of us were talking about earlier, in some cases it does just go away. But it's a two-way street. Velveeta is waiting around the corner for you. Okay, be careful. All right. So let me show you the cause of type 2 diabetes. And if you have an endocrinologist, you can charge your endocrinologist for listening to your lecture about this. I want you to share this. People, they seem to think you got diabetes from eating bread. That's not the cause. This is a cell, one of the cells of your body, okay? And insulin is made in your pancreas. It goes in the blood and it arrives at the cell, and insulin acts like a key to let glucose in the cell. With me so far? Okay, the insulin's made in your pancreas, goes to the surface of the cell, just like a key. It opens up the cells to allow sugar to go into those funny little channels. In it goes. A person who has type 2 diabetes has all that machinery. and they have insulin. But they have something else. They have those yellow blobs. That's fat. Beef fat, chicken fat, fish oil, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. There might be a little 1040 motor oil in there, I'm not sure. But the fat is building up in their cells. And it stops insulin from working. Let me be clear. Fat buildup inside muscle and liver cells causes insulin resistance, so that your own insulin can no longer open that cell. And so now you can eat bread, you can eat an apple, you can eat anything, and the sugar stays in the blood. It can't get into the cell normally. And we blame the bread or the apple. That's not the cause. The cause was the bologna sandwich that you were eating. The fat builds up in the cells. Are you with me? Okay, so why did Vance cure himself of diabetes? Because how much animal fat is there in the vegan diet? There isn't any. And if you keep oils really low, that fat drains out. Now, back years ago, we didn't know this, but we know this now. I can take a patient like Vance, I can change his diet, and I send him to our partners, Jerry Schulman and Kit Peterson at Yale University, where they lie down on a table. We do what is called magnetic resonance spectroscopy. It's an expensive test where I'm now looking not at a twisted ankle or a brain tumor. I'm looking into your body, where I'm looking at the fat inside your muscles and the fat inside your livers, and if you change your diet enough, it goes away quickly. And your blood sugar starts dropping, and your doctor says, we've got to cut you back on your insulin. I don't know why, but this is what is changing, and this is why people get better. And so that shows us the kind of diet changes we need to make. Yes, throw out the sodas. Yes, be careful about sugar. But if that is all you do, you will have diabetes forever. But if we change this, you've got a shot at not only reducing your medication doses, but maybe getting rid of it and preventing the complications of diabetes. My father was in the cattle business as a young man. He didn't like it, he left. He went to medical school, he became a diabetes expert for Fargo, North Dakota. Every night, 6 o'clock, he would arrive home, sit down his medical bag, and slump into a chair. I never once heard my father say that a diabetes patient ever got better. It was all blood tests, urine tests, sharp needles, trying to forestall the damage, trying to save vision and prevent people from needing dialysis. And I've often wished that I could go back in time and say, hey Dad, we've learned a few things about how this is, and frankly the answer is really simple. It's don't eat like you're in North Dakota.